All right, baby, the tea is piping, so let's get into it. Group coaching programs are popping up all around, but let's really talk about it. People are not getting the results that they signed up for, and unfortunately, it's becoming a little too common. And what breaks my heart is that it's causing people to actually question the integrity of the entire industry. But around here at Curate Consulting, we're changing that narrative, honey. It's not just about packaging your expertise. We're aiming for success, transformation, referrals, growth, all while making the money that we deserve and knowing that we're doing it with integrity. And you know what? I see you. I see your heart. I see your integrity. I see your expertise. And your clients deserve to get optimum results. And the fact that your clients aren't getting optimal results has nothing to do with your expertise, but it has to do with how you're packaging it in a way that focuses on results. So let's talk about it. Let's dive in today into how do I create a group coaching program that's set up to help my clients get optimal transformational results and change their lives. I'm Zakiya Williams-Spears, business coach for group coaches, and I use the power of curriculum design to help coaches sustainably scale from one-on-one to one-to-many without compromising client results. So if you're ready to level up your coaching business, improve your client experience, and then skyrocket results, you're in the right place. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to be revealing my coveted FIRE framework. It's the framework I use to help my clients design transformational learning experiences for their clients. Now, you're going to want to stick around and grab your pen and paper because we're not just talking about theory. This video is full of practical, actionable steps that's going to turn your coaching dreams into a reality. So let's dive in. The FIRE framework is a 4-part process that includes framework design, instructional design, resource design, and enrollment process. So first things first, let's talk about creating a framework that's not just catchy and cute, but actually memorable, measurable, and marketable. So the beginning of any strong framework actually begins with a strong program promise. And I personally am a huge fan of the very simple SMART goal framework. You really want to ensure that your program promise is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Imagine setting the stage with a strong program promise that's as smart as it gets, that strategically guides your clients towards tangible, actionable results. This is the time for you to pull in your existing expertise and the existing results that you've already gotten for yourself or for your clients. What are the real tangible results that you're able to produce? You're going to take that information, put it into the SMART goal framework, and now we can move into designing your framework that leads to that actionable outcome. And you'll want to outline the steps towards achieving that outcome in just 3 to 5 actionable steps. And before you ask, if you have 6, nothing will break. I just want you to think about keeping it as small as possible because I've seen coaches that have like 10, 12-part frameworks. And the truth is, that's just really way too many steps to be bite-sized. And half the time, you probably have frameworks within a framework. Like, for example, the FIRE framework is actually a framework inside my curriculum module. I have a framework to help you figure out your culture, to figure out your coaching strategy, to figure out your community engagement strategy. But today we're just talking about the curriculum strategy, and that's where the FIRE framework lives. It's just a simple 4-part process. So now, as I mentioned, we're going back to your existing expertise and your existing experiences with clients. If you don't already have a framework or you're looking to shake up your framework, one thing I recommend doing is just simply writing out all of the things that you believe people need to do in order to achieve the outcome that you desire. Then you're going to want to put those steps in order from what is the very first thing they need to do to what is the last thing that they need to do. Once you've done that, the fun part becomes making it memorable. Because yes, you can outline those 3 to 5 steps, but is it going to be catchy? You can remember the FIRE framework, but what if I call it the ITCAR3 framework? What, baby? What? I'm not going to remember that. Can you break it down, make it easy, right? So when you think about FIRE now, I'm pretty sure you're going to think about me a little bit, right? So we want to make sure that our frameworks are memorable in some way. So how do we do that? So let's use the FIRE framework, for example. It's memorable, marketable, measurable. It's super catchy, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I did not just come up with the FIRE framework overnight. It was actually a journey that was sparked by community magic. Let me explain. So I stumbled upon this FIRE concept when I was in my own coaching program. I was outlining the steps to help folks create curriculum, and I had the F, the I, the R. And so as I was looking through my list, I was like, okay, if I put an E at the end of this could be fire. That's just how my brain works. I immediately saw the pattern and I saw opportunities for words. But actually, let me take it a step back. I didn't just crystal clear write framework, instruction, resources. I had a paper that was scattered with so many different words. And I looked at those words to determine which ones are kind of similar, which ones kind of go into the same bucket. And I had to narrow down a page full of ideas into something as simple as possible. I realized that I had the word framework and I also had outline. Same thing, baby. Framework, outline, steps, right? So I was able to put that into the idea of framework. And as I was looking around my paper, I started to see words pop out. And so, like I said, I had the F, the I, and the R. And so I went to a coaching community that I was in and I told them, I was like, y'all, I'm working on my framework. Here's what I have so far. I feel like if I have an E, then I can make the word fire, but I can't think of anything to be an E. When I tell you the community came through, they gave me so many different ideas for the E. And so I pulled together a few of the different ideas and I finally came up with fire. Shout out to the person that gave me the E to ignite this fire because that was baller. And so this entire thing really took several days. If I could honestly think back, it might have took more than that. And I'm sharing that with you because I don't want you to think that the moment you sit down or right after this video, it's just going to pop into your mind and you're automatically going to know exactly what your unique framework is. You have to write it down, look at it, think about it, get feedback, come back to it, tweak it until it finally resonates. And then once you have a framework that you truly believe in, that you think reflects exactly the outcome that you want people to achieve, it's time for you to seek feedback. Listen to the advice that I'm giving you. Don't just keep it in your own brain or once you feel like it resonates with you, that's the end of it. Ask your business bestie, ask your coaching community, ask a trusted client that you currently have. Like, hey, I'm revamping my program. I'm thinking about this fire framework. What do you think about it? Truth be told, feedback is a gift and it's going to be your secret sauce to improving your program. Programs are not one and done. It takes continuous improvement and many reiterations before it's solid. I share more about this concept and how you can ensure that your program resonates with you, your mission, and your clients in my guide, The Ultimate Group Coaching Blueprint. This comprehensive resource literally is everything that you need to know if you want to design and deliver an industry-leading group coaching program. So don't miss out. Grab your copy now so that you can start creating a sustainable, scalable group coaching program that actually helps your clients get great results. All right, so now that we've gotten the F, let's move on to the I. Instructional design, aka the unsung hero of the group coaching industry. You see, many coaches begin their coaching journey with learning how to market and sell their program, which you should absolutely know how to do. And most marketing and sales programs have a portion of it that helps you design your framework. Now, the pitfall is that many people stop at the framework. They might have a framework and a few bullets on the things that they want to teach or a Google Doc that just outlines some notes, but unfortunately, that is not the level of instruction that drives action and drives results. Now, let me be clear. You need marketing and sales strategies if you're going to run a business. But what's true is that the success of your marketing and sales strategies are very tightly interwoven with the quality of your instruction and your entire program design. So many people struggle with their messaging. They struggle with getting sales. They struggle with conversions and closing because they're not really clear on exactly how their program transforms. And in this day and age, people don't just want to know the outcome anymore. They also want to know the steps that you're taking to get them to where they want to go. So trust me, when you blend my unique and intentional instructional design processes with your stellar marketing and sales strategies, baby, get ready for some quantum leaps. Your framework is the what, but your instruction is the how. So let's demystify this instructional design process for the group coaching realm. For this particular video, I want to center the idea of instructional design around objectives, activities, and assessments. Let's get into it. First, objectives. These are literally the guiding stars for your entire program. So remember, when we did the program promise, we got crystal clear on the outcome. When we created the framework, we got crystal clear on the steps. Now let's explain what those steps actually mean and what you want them to achieve within those steps. You can think of your objectives as like milestones. Similar to your program promise, you want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. They might not necessarily need to be time bound in this particular case, but you definitely want to make sure they are crystal clear. This is what keeps everyone on the same success path and brings a whole different level of clarity to your program. There's this popular taxonomy in education called Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy is a hierarchical model that's used to categorize and classify objectives in terms of specificity and complexity. At the bottom of the pyramid, we focus on things like knowing and understanding. And it's important that your coaching program does not just live and know and understand. That is very low level complex, but we're moving people to action. So you want to strategically use objectives that guide them from like knowing and understanding concepts to putting those concepts into specific practices that will change their lives and businesses. Now, remember, our objectives are rooted in our program promise. So we know it's going to drive results, but we also have to ensure that they're taking the actions towards those results. So for example, when I'm helping my clients create sustainable, scalable group coaching programs that do not compromise client results, one of the very first things that we talk about is your coaching vision. I really want to know your deepest desires and your crystal clear vision so that we can work together to make it come to life in the form of your program. So the earlier objectives in our journey sound like, let's explore the deeper meanings behind your coaching vision, or identify the core values that drive your passion for coaching. The verbs there are identify and explore. That's really about thinking. And thinking ignites action, but it's not actually telling you to do anything. And sometimes we can get so caught up in the conversation and the thinking and the knowing and the understanding, and it feels good to articulate those things, but is it changing lives and businesses? Just simply articulating your core values does not change anything. Just exploring, that doesn't change anything. But we do need to do those things as a baseline before we can do anything else. I need to hear and understand. I need you to know before we can take things into action. So after we unpack the vision and desires, then we can move towards that action. And we begin doing so by crafting a mission and vision statement for your business. At this stage, we're creating, okay? I'm not just thinking about my values. I'm not just thinking about my vision, but now I have crafted a mission and vision statement that I can use to promote my business so that I'm attracting the people who want to see that vision come to life, who will join me on this mission towards transformation. Hopefully not just transforming yourself and your clients, but at Curate Consulting, we're about changing the world. So the verb that I typically use is synthesize, right? We're synthesizing the steps from our previous conversations. So synthesizing is higher on the taxonomy too. I'm not just knowing and understanding, but now I'm taking information and making sense of it. That requires a lot more thought than just simply thinking and knowing and understanding. And that's what's going to drive us towards greater action. Let me know in the comments if you want a more specific video on how to craft objectives that take your clients from just thought to action. Now let's talk about activities. This is where the rubber meets the road. Activities simply mean, how will they practice what you taught? What are the hands-on experiences that your clients will go through? So like, for example, in my previous example about the mission and vision statement, maybe one of the activities that we do is look at mission and vision statements from other companies and dissect them and think about what is coming out of this, right? Some people need inspiration from other sources in order to ignite their own inspiration. It's not for everyone, but it might be an activity that I consider so that I can help them begin to generate thoughts and ideas. The most important thing when it comes to activities in a group coaching program is infusing variety. There will be individual tasks, group tasks, discussions count as an activity. What's important is that you just keep it engaging, interactive, and ensure that it's really lighting up and inspiring your clients. Because what's really important in instructional design is that you're tailoring the experience to different learning styles. Some people like to write, some people like to have conversation, some people like to think alone, some people like to think in groups. And so when you mix up the styles, you're speaking to the different styles that people have, right? I think that's one of the challenges that people have with group coaching programs. How do I make this engaging for more than one person? I'm used to engaging one-on-one, but the answer to that is infuse different styles so that every lesson hits a different modality for a different type of learner. We're going to talk about accessibility to different learners a little bit later in this video. Remember, diversity sparks engagement. I remember working with a client on the activities that she wanted to incorporate in her program about helping hairstylists start their own brick and mortar salon. Part of her process had to do with helping her clients understand the different laws and codes and regulations there were about the health and safety of your salon. And as we talked about the different possible activities, for a while, she just couldn't get past the idea of a worksheet, a fill in the blank worksheet. She said, oh, activities, let's make a worksheet. Worksheets are great for taking notes and to help guide information, but it's really not an engaging activity. And it made me really think back to our learning experiences. Like if you're in a similar age range as me, you know that back in the day, we used to get worksheets all the time, little work packets, go and do this work, right? That was the outcome of a lesson. Can you fill out this worksheet? But in education, we realized that that's not really helping us best understand what students know. It's not engaging and giving them an opportunity to really explore how they can, take this objective and take these standards and make sense of it in real time. So these days in schools, we focus more on project-based learning. So we ended up talking about how every single activity and assignment should be leading them towards opening up and establishing their own salon. A worksheet is not going to then transfer into something that's helping my salon grow. It's a worksheet that tests whether or not I know information. And that type of teaching is called the banking system of education. I put information in you, and when I'm ready to get it out, you give it to me, right? No. You can engage people in different ways and help them understand information and demonstrate their understanding in ways that's not just about, can you fill in the blank here? So like I said, one of the objectives that she had was about helping them understand, right? Understand is on the lower part of Bloom's taxonomy, the codes and violations, right? Now we shifted the objective to creating a space that meets the codes and standards, the health and safety standards, right? Not just knowing, but creating. So after her lesson on health and safety, we came up with an activity that first asked them to inventory their current stock to see what supplies that they needed to meet the regulations, create a list of additional products that they needed. She was able to provide them with a list so that they could be able to cross-reference, and then they began creating tools and visuals that help to name their safety regulations and expectations for their clients. So now at the end of this lesson, they have actual tools that inspire them to continue building forward. They have the posters that they're going to put on their wall. They have the supplies that they actually need. And it's not that, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just about putting people into action, into motion towards the desired outcome. Again, it doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be actionable. Now let's talk about assessments. Pop quiz! I'm just playing. While it's important to continuously assess your client's understanding of the information you teach, when I say assessments, I'm not talking about pop quizzes and tests. Just like the worksheets, this is not old school, 90s school style, okay? We're talking about the future of education and learning. What we really want to do with assessments is gauge their process and their progress towards the end goal. You're going to want to incorporate regular check-ins on that throughout your program. This could be in the form of reflections. Let's say one of the rituals that you have at the beginning of your program is that everyone reflects on a very specific criteria that you are currently measuring, like with the example of the hair salon. Take a moment and think about our last lesson. Have you accomplished everything you needed to accomplish in order to set up your health and safety regulations? Right? It's a simple yes or no personal assessment. Have I done it or have I not done it? And you might give them some, if you have done it, here's what you should be thinking about next. If you haven't done it, assess what is holding you back, right? Like give them some prompts to help them understand why they are where they are and what they need to do to move forward. And the people who are ready to move forward, you want to continue to encourage their acceleration by supporting them with the next step, which could be in the rest of this lesson, we're actually going to talk about what happens when the violation is not up to code. I'm literally making this up, but you see where I'm going with this? We want to give them a personal moment to reflect. I highly recommend that as part of your kickoff call, you're sharing your SMART goal program promise with them, because obviously they probably already know it, of course, because they're in the program, but you're sharing it so that they can compare where they want to be within the program promise. So continuing with the hair salon example, if the outcome is that she wants them to be able to open and establish their own salon within 6 months, for example, maybe you want to get them to ask for themselves, is 6 months reasonable for you? Would you do 12 months? Or maybe you're already a little bit ahead and you can accelerate and do it in 3 months. People have to be able to think about whether that program promise meets what they need and where they are right now. And if it's yes, that's why they're in their program. But people are going to be at different stages within the same stage. So yes, we're all experienced hairstylists. Yes, we all want to open up a salon. Yes, we all have the funding for that. But this is what keeps you and your clients in sync. This what keeps them from blaming you for the lack of results that they get, for the work that they didn't do, right? We all in this together. Let's check your progress together, okay? And if you want to take it a step further, get them to document that so that when you ask them like, hey, what's going on? You can see where they are and the work that they've already done. We want to make sure our clients aren't just moving, because moving could also be in a spiral and circle, baby. This thing is moving, but it ain't going nowhere. We want to make sure that they're forward moving in the right direction. Now on to the heartbeat of your coaching program, which is the actual coaching call structure. Coaching calls are the gold mine for transformation. That's where they take the information and then think about how they're going to make it actionable for themselves. Now, unfortunately, way too many people lean on Q&A calls as their only type of coaching structure. Now, there's nothing wrong with Q&A calls, but you have to diversify the types of calls that you have in your program if you want to make it more engaging and accessible and inclusive. Trying a variety of coaching call styles is what will ensure optimal success. Linked in the description, you'll find access to the Ultimate Group Coaching Call Guide. In this guide, you'll find the 6 different types of coaching call structures that I encourage my clients to implement. Now, when you click on this link, you'll be prompted for a limited time $22 pricing for this guide that's normally priced at $99. And I promise you it's worth every penny. Once you understand the different types of coaching calls, you'll want to ensure that you're mapping out your coaching calls and put it into some sort of scope and sequence that your clients can see on the front end. I'm telling you, when they know where they're going, it reduces anxiety so much. It keeps them from questioning your process. It keeps them from asking a million questions and overwhelming other people in the group, because they know what's coming. Reducing anxiety and buyer's remorse is a whole topic for another video. All right. So once you know the type of coaching call, you'll want to make sure that each type has an agenda. Each call always should have an agenda for the same reason. I want to know where I'm going on the micro level. I want to see the long scope, and in each session, I want to know what you're getting ready to teach me and how you're going to teach me. Your agenda should include the information, it should include the objectives, it should include the activities, the assessments, all that. This structure is what creates a seamless flow within your coaching calls and really sets people up for ultimate success. So that's it. That's all. That was that's Instructional Design 101. And like I said in the beginning, I'm gonna need y'all not to underestimate the power of instructional design. Don't play with her. It's honestly what will take your coaching program from good to exceptional, from one-on-one to one-to-many. That is how we replicate results. So if you're ready to enhance and improve continuously your instructional design process, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that we can continue this coaching journey together. Now, truth be told, another part of the instructional design process are the resources. But we're going to give resources her own moment, okay? And let's get into the R of this FIRE framework and talk about resources. When it comes to resources, we need to keep it simple, effective, and accessible, okay? And trust me, simplicity does not mean sacrificing impact. I think way too many coaches overwhelm their programs because they want to make sure that people know everything they need to know, but honestly, they only need to know the things that's going to get them result that you desire. So let's remove everything else and focus on the simplest things. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. We want to make sure that we maximize profit margins. So Google Slides and Google Docs, hey boo, they're going to be your best friends. You don't need elaborate templates and fancy software. A clean, brand aligned slide in Google Slides and a very clear, strategic, just put a little few boxes up in Google Docs. That's all you need. It will literally be your secret weapon to success. I mean, I'm a Google gal. I think it's user-friendly, accessible, easy, affordable because it's free. Or maybe if you have like a Google Workspace domain, it's probably $6 a month. Your slides are your visual guide. Again, keep it simple. You don't need a whole bunch of fancy graphics. And honestly, if I do decide to create a graphic, I might create a quick graphic in Canva, make it into a picture and paste it over. But most of the time, it's really simple to use the features that are already in Google, right? The only thing you really want to focus on is breaking down your key points, talking about the strategies that are within your framework, and keeping the audience engaged. And then I have a very specific framework for how to very simply create information within your Google Docs. I actually, now that I remember, I have a reel that I created, and I'm gonna link that in the description too. Okay, make sure you play around in the description, hang out there, and see all these different links that I put in to help you along your journey, where I really outline how I use Google Suites to run my coaching business. I see the value in having a workbook right alongside the learning experience, so that clients know what information they want to jot in, how they are going to track the most important parts of what you're teaching, have a space to dump their thoughts. And sometimes people just need a little bit of guidance on what that needs to look like. And having a loose note-taking opportunity does not work for everyone. So it's best to have it so that those who need it have it, and those who don't want it, that's totally fine too, right? Accessibility is about giving options. Whenever I'm in a program where the coach doesn't have any slides, not a workbook, a worksheet in sight, I'm lost. Me personally, my brain, squirrel, I'm gone. Baby, you need to keep me grounded, okay? Let me know in the comments if that is you too. Let me know if I'm not alone, or if you've ever experienced a learning space that did not meet your needs. And on the other side of that, one that exceeded your needs and really supported you. I would love to hear about how the different coaching resources out in the industry have supported different types of learners. And if you want me to share more about how exactly I use Google Workspace to help run my coaching business, then leave me a Google in the comments. If there's enough interest, and I might whip up another video telling you exactly how I use all of the different Google Suite features. Now, slides and workbooks are your baseline for accessibility. If you want to take it a step further, consider adding captions to your videos. Add private podcasts for people who like to consume content on the go. Or even consider transcribing your coaching calls for people who would prefer to read information and maybe take notes right on paper. Making your program as accessible as possible will not only open up your program to a broader audience, but it will increase your reputation as someone who actually cares about their clients. There's really so much more that I can say about accessibility that includes elements of diversity and inclusion and the pitfalls of not making your program diverse and inclusive, but I'm gonna say that video for another time. Now that we've crafted our resources, outlined our instruction, and ensured that our resources are inclusive and accessible, let's talk about the gatekeeping magic of your enrollment process. Trust me, the enrollment process is where the alchemy truly happens, because your community matters actually a lot, and it increases, let me change that. It significantly increases the value of your program when you have a highly curated, intentional program. Imagine your group coaching program like a vibrant garden. Each client is a unique flower, a beautiful bloom, and together it creates a masterpiece. And in order for that magic, that masterpiece, that alchemy to really mix, you have to curate who is in the room. It's up to you. And if you ever had a challenge with a client, I need you to not just think about how crummy the client was and how they weren't aligned, but instead think about the fact that you allowed them in there. And what did you do or not do to gatekeep the program? Now, I'm not saying it's all your fault. You can't, sometimes you just never know what happens. But at the same time, if we don't take accountability for the role that we played in any outcome that we desire, then we will never truly get there, because we have to understand our role in everything that we do. It's important that you have people who are in a similar phase of their business. I've been in programs where people were light years ahead of me, or people who, haven't made the accomplishments that I've quite made. And while there's value in every community and every conversation, you want to make sure that your people are in similar stages. And that's because this is a curriculum-based program. There is a program promise that needs to be achieved. And there has to be some level of prerequisites for people to be primed and ready to achieve your result. You want your clients to resonate with each other, to support each other, to guide each other, to build lasting friendships. How cool would it be to learn 10 years later that you have established a group of best friends that would have never met had you not shown up? Ooh, the chills. And when people in your program actually love each other, the engagement will skyrocket. They go in your coaching program every day looking to see what their besties are up to. They're communicating in your community. They're talking on the coaching calls because they love the people that they're around. And you have to understand that everyone is not going to be a perfect fit for your program. And just throwing the gates open to any and everyone who can pay is really risking the results in your program. It's risking the conversion of not just your sales. That's not the only conversion you need to be focused on, but it's risking the conversions of people actually achieving the results. Everybody's not a perfect fit, and you do not want to dilute the essence of your community, because it really will hinder the power of the transformative growth that happens in a community space. So how do you ensure the right mix? Your application process is going to be your guard. Now, there's much to the enrollment process, but for this video, I just want to focus on application. Now, there's a lot that goes into the enrollment process, but for this conversation, I just want to focus on your application. Your application shouldn't just be about like, what are your goals? What's your revenue? How do you think I can help you? Those questions are okay. Here are 3 examples from different industries that really help your application go beyond the basics and focus more intentionally on people who are primed and ready, and also are completely mission and soul aligned for your program. So for a business coach, you might ask, what specific business challenges are you currently facing, and how do you envision this program helping you overcome them? Ooh, baby, it's specific. Describe a time when you faced a setback in your business. What did you learn and how did you navigate it? Okay, trying to figure out character. In 3 words, define the mission that drives you as a business owner. How do you, wait for this, how do you see it aligning with the mission of our coaching program? Have you ever heard a question like that? Nope, because I wrote them. Now, what about a health coach? Let's figure out these questions. What wellness goals are you currently striving for, and why is now the right time for you to embark on this journey? You might find some people are interested in the outcome, but it's not the right time for them. And you'll find out through questions like this that you know that they're not even equipped to implement the things that you're asking them. Okay? Share a personal achievement related to your health that you're proud of. How did it impact your overall well-being? With that question, we're fostering feelings of success and seeing what does that really feel like for them, so they can walk into your program already remembering that they can be successful. Y'all don't know how powerful that is. Another question, how do you envision contributing to a supportive and health-focused community within this program? She said, what you got for us? What you bringing to the table? Okay, because you're not just about to be up in here taking from everybody else and not bringing nothing for us. We a community. Now, an example for a relationship coach. What motivated you to seek guidance in your relationship journey, and what specific outcomes are you hoping to achieve, right? Because maybe the type of relationship coach you are, you specifically focus on, let's say, parenting relationships. But then this person tells you that they're struggling with their husband. And it's like, ooh, that's actually not my expertise, right? That's important. because you don't want them in the program talking about something. I can't use these strategies with my husband. I need this and that. And then some coaches will actually start diverting from their curriculum and start creating content for what people ask for. And that ain't got nothing to do with the program promise. Stay focused. Okay. Describe a challenge you faced in your interpersonal relationships. How do you navigate it and what did you learn? Now, I just wrote this one to be pretty generic, like interpersonal relationships in general. But if you are a marriage coach, so like describe a challenge you faced in your marriage. How did you navigate it and what did you learn? Right. Asking people what did they learn helps you know what they're already coming in with. Okay. And then finally, in what ways do you see your personal values aligning with the mission of our relationship coaching program? Okay. So you'll use these questions to better understand their goals, better understand their motivation, better understand their intentions, their mission, and their overall alignment with you as a human being and with your program. If you have an existing application process and you're like, ooh, I wonder if these are the right questions, go ahead and send me a DM on Instagram and I'd be happy to give you some feedback on your application process. Now, I know the culture says no gatekeeping, but when it comes to your coaching program, your business, and your livelihood, gatekeep that. You, my dear, are responsible for keeping your community safe and productive. And asking the right questions can ensure that your program is not just a group of people together in the same room, but it is a community, a tribe of people going head first into a shared mission that will transform themselves, each other, your industry, and ultimately the world. And there you have it. That is the entire FIRE framework. In this video, we talked about framework design, instructional design, resource design, and your enrollment process. But again, that's not the end of the road. We have so many resources for you linked in the description. The free ultimate group coaching blueprint, the low cost group coaching guide. We have, I'm actually going to link a mini video that I did about Google and how I use Google Suite. And if you're interested in that, I'll create a longer form video of it and just read over the description because it really recaps a lot of the important parts that we talked about today. I don't want to see you just surviving your group coaching program anymore. The world needs, your clients need to see you thriving and helping them achieve transformational, optimal, skyrocketed results. And everything that they need is inside of you. And at this point, it's all about how you sustainably structure it so that you can scale to reach more people with your impact. So if you're really about turning your coaching dreams into a reality, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and let's ignite the fire in your industry together. I'm Zakiya Williams-Spears, and I use the power of curriculum design to help coaches scale from one-on-one to one-to-many without compromising client results. And I will see you all in the next video. See you next time.